What's up, guys? Wakey here as usual. Just showing you a little pound diving here, swimming with the lobsters. This is some GoPro footage, so doing a little bit of voiceover here. You can check out my other vids diving in a lobster pound to actually see how this operation works. But this is a GoPro connected to a basket, we call it, which is basically a wire basket, kind of like a lobster trap with nothing inside of it, and that's getting chucked off the boat. It's fed to me. You can see I'm diving there and picking up lobsters, put it in, boat comes back, gives me an empty one and takes a full one. So, as you can see, guys, how murky it is in these lobster pounds. That's one of the biggest problems diving. I wouldn't say problems, more like an obstacle, I guess. Part of the job, I guess, is staying out of that rile that you're creating. Pretty much just a muddy bottom through most of these pounds. See the mark flying up there, and just keep working your way through that rile and pulling along kind of in a back and forth motion, almost like a zigzag, back and forth, staying out of that rile so you can continue to work. Yeah, you can, just barely make out the lobsters. You got to know what you're looking for, but for the most part, they're fairly docile right now, or at this time. The water temperature drops, and they're fairly dormant. You can see there, they get a little hair, a little fur on them from being so dormant for several months. They don't do much moving around. They get a little growth on them. A little algae or seaweed, whatever you want to call it. Some of them are still up moving around, but for the most part they're laying around, fairly inactive. They don't really feed. They just chill out. Like I said, the water temperature's anywhere from 30 to 36 degrees. So they're not really feeding, they're not very active. But you float them in a crate overnight, and a lot of that stuff comes right off. That they clean right up pretty good. But you see lobsters flying around. When I go to grab them, they fly around like that one just flew in front of the camera there. But like I said, you can see the rile. I mean, it's just a big mud hole down there for the most part. I'd like to get a GoPro and strap it directly to my face somehow, because there are clear spots in the pound that you could see very well, and the lobsters are just piled right up like cockroaches on top of each other. When the tide starts coming in, they get a little more active. They get moving around in certain, what I'd like to call, more active areas of the pound. This particular spot where I'm swimming is a little less active. They create these craters, looks just like craters on the moon. They spin around in circles, and they create almost like a hole that they kind of lay down into. And I've seen times where there's been 5-6 lobsters just laying on top of each other, just chilling. You can see though, you give them a grab, they'll take off. That lobster just took off trying to get away from me. But just gives you a little perspective, guys, of the lobsters piled up down there. And you can see there's a rock right there. You can see the lobsters just barely silhouetted. They kind of match the bottom because they have a little silt on them, a little bit of that mud just sitting on them. But anyway, where there's a point of interest, a rock, or ledge, or anything like that, you'll see them, they always hang to that, almost looking for protection or something. But you'll go back to that same rock every day and there'll be a new lobster there. Yes, I believe they're a little more active in the nighttime anyway. So, I know that's true during the summer and the warmer months, but I still think they are. They just become a little active when the tide changes and there's a little current going through there. I don't know if it kicks up scents or something from the outside water, but you see there's a kelp pile right there. Probably a couple lobsters under there. But when that current comes in, when the tide starts coming, seems like they get up and move a little bit, like they're heading towards it or something. Like I said, it might just be the way they travel, or what, if they smell something or what, but they get up and move a little bit. But anyway, like I said, just a cool perspective. You guys check out how it works down there. Like I said, I've already got a video of the actual operation, and if you're curious as to what a lobster pound is, I also have a video of that. I tend to grab them 2 at a time, where we have mittens. We don't have a normal glove down there, we have a mitten, 3-fingered mitten. So I'll grab one between my thumb and my pointer, and one between my middle finger and my pointer. So tend to grab 2 at a time. I get paid 10 cents a pound for picking these out, averaging anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500, sometimes 1,700 pounds on one tank. Do 2 to 3 tanks a day. It's pretty monotonous work, but what can you do? Get to have a little fun with it every now and then. And there's me hamming it up for the camera. There's my fat ass in the suit. I prop the basket up because there's an opening in the front, so lobsters will get out of it if you leave it laying flat on the bottom. Here's the shot, time elapsed, obviously. It took a few minutes of the boat coming to haul the trap, or the basket, up to the boat. There's my buddy AR, or R as we like to call him, short for his initials of AR. Captain John in the boat, using his GoPro. The boat coming back to the float here, and here's where the grading process and sorting lobsters goes through. We got our crates. There's our basket, which is what I was handling. The GoPro was mounted to that very basket right there. Usually there'll be anywhere from 100 to 140 lobsters that we pack in one of those. And fill the crates, put them out on the crate line, load them in the truck. And there's our boat dog Brady. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.